Hi there, this is Justin. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a Pareto analysis of your blog posts. In other words, I want to understand which of my blog posts are driving the majority of visitors to my site. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to start in Google Analytics, and we are going to navigate to the landing pages report under the behavioral section. Once we're on this page, I want you to notice that by default, it's only going to show us the top 10 results in the table. I want to export this data out so I can then conduct my analysis in Tableau. If you don't use Tableau, you could do this in Excel or even Google Sheets. The concepts are the same. So the first thing I want to do is change this to include all the results. So right now I have 119 and I want to expand this. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on 250 and that will give me all my results. Next thing I want to do is I want you to notice by default it's going to give us the landing page path. Now this is fine, but it's kind of difficult to read this at times, and a prettier way to view this would be by the page title. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and click on secondary dimension, and I'm going to run a search for page and just go down until I see page title, and that's just going to add the page title next to it. Okay, now if you're changing the title of your blog posts often, then you're changing the title and you're not changing the actual URL, then this might create a bit of a mess. But in my case, I'm not doing that. It's a one-to-one relationship here. So I can just add this. I'm not going to have any problems. Next thing we need to do is actually export this data out. Before that, obviously pick the relevant date range. So I'm just going to look at, what's happened in the last 30 days. So I'm kind of taking the last 30 days as a block of time. And I'm going to then export this data out. So we have 124 rows, and I'm just gonna come over here to export, and I'm gonna export it as an Excel file. So that's gonna download it there. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into Tableau. Tableau is a very powerful data visualization and analytics tool. I have a few videos on Tableau, which I'll link to in the description. And I also have a blog post that talks about, basically gives an introduction to Tableau. So I'll link that as well in the description. So the first thing I need to do in Tableau is go ahead and connect to the data. So I'm going to click on connect to data, select Microsoft Excel. I'm going to pick the most recent file. Now I'm going to turn on use data interpreter and drag dataset 1. And now what I see is those rows, right? 124 rows. If we scroll out of the bottom, notice I've got, nulls here. It's basically the total, right? The total row. So we're going to remove this soon. But basically I've got one row per landing page, got the page title, sessions, and all the data we had in the table in Google Analytics. Now, we care about sessions in this case. I want to do a Pareto analysis on sessions, so I can kind of ignore the rest. So I'm now going to jump into sheet 1, and I'm going to start building my visualization. Now, a Pareto analysis, the best way to kind of view this type of, build such a view is going to be using a bar chart. So I want a bar chart that shows me the top 80%. Pareto analysis is 80-20. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag landing page into columns. Okay, and then I'm going to take sessions and put that into rows. And now Tableau is going to be smart. It's going to create a bar chart for me with all the landing pages at the bottom. Now, I actually put landing pages by mistake. Let's switch that out with page title. Okay, because we want the title of the blog post. Now, we could leave it like this, but it's a bit easier to read this if I switch it around. So I'm going to put page title in rows and move sessions to columns to get this side view. I'm then going to actually align the page title to the left. And notice we've got this big bar here, which is now, this is the total line. So we can just exclude this entirely. Okay, and now we're starting to get our visualization. Let's give it a bit more space so we can see. Okay, some of our titles are very long. So now we need to do a few things to do a bit of cleanup. The first thing I want to do is sort this from highest to lowest. So to do that, I'm going to click here on sort. I'm going to do descending, and I'm going to pick a field, session sum, right? So now I've sorted it top to bottom. We can see the number 1 landing page is how to become a business analyst, a step-by-step guide. It's my most popular article for this given time frame. And we now have our view down here. Now, since I want to do it on blog posts, I need to remove the non-blog posts. Now, there's a few ways we could do this. The quickest is just going to be to go and manually select, which I'm going to do in a second, but you could also come over here and you could create a group and then just basically create different groups manually, right? So we have a lot of different pages here, it seems. You know what, to save some time, I'm actually not going to go ahead and do that. Let's just keep it like it is. I will remove the home page though, which is this one, because that is the, it's going to have a lot of traffic. And then the rest of the pages should be pretty small amount of volume. The non-blog post, like the archive pages, could probably exclude 1 or 2 of those. So let's see. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and turn on labels so we can get a sense of what we're dealing with. Okay, give this sheet a name. So Pareto analysis of landing pages. Okay, cool. So what do we want to do next? A nice little thing we can do is add an index. So we have our count. Let's make this discrete and put it over here. And yeah, we could maybe, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, that's good enough for now. So we can see essentially, this would be our top 10, right? The index is just giving us a count of the rows. So we have 86 pages listed here, and we can see that. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to get to the 80th percentile. So how do we do that? Let's do this in steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is just recreate this view to be side by side. But now for this one, I actually want to switch this to percentage of total. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And now I can basically see that we've got this page over here is around 12% of all the traffic. So let's go ahead here and turn on totals. Okay, it actually makes it a bit smaller, the view. Let's maybe not do that, but I think you get the idea. This 600 is 11% of the total. Okay, but that's not really Pareto. What we want to do now is look at this in terms of percentage as a running sum. So let's add a third one. See if this will work. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of an advanced table calculation in Tableau. So I'm going to click on Add Table Calculation. And now I've got this little wizard over here. And I'm going to start with running total. But I'm going to add a secondary calculation and then do percentage of total table down. Okay, let's have a look if this worked. Okay, great. So now notice what's happened. We've got here the number of sessions per landing page. Here we have percentage for each of these out of the total. And this is the running sum of the percentages. So obviously row 1 is going to be the same, but this plus this is equal to this. And then this plus this plus this is equal to this. So we get the running sum. And now we can see we hit the 80th percentile over here, right? So our top 16 posts is when we reach our 80th percentile. Okay, another way to look at this is I'm going to now drag this, our running sum, onto color. Let's see if I can get this to work. And now I'm just going to, let's make this, let's do that maybe. Stepped colors. I want the center to be 0.8. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now all I need to do is replicate that for these two. So let's do that. Great, it actually does it automatically. I guess I could put on to all. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of this, so make some space. The color scheme isn't the best, but I think you get the idea. So make this full screen now. What do we have here? We've got all our page titles of our landing pages. We've got the number of sessions per page, sorted from most to page with the highest number of landings, number of sessions, percentage of the total, right? And then we've got our running sum of percentages. And we can see here, based on the colors, when we hit the 80th percentile. So you can see here, this gets kind of steep because these posts have quite a lot of weight out of the total. And then once we hit like the 80th percentile, you can see the jumps are very small. It's like less than 1% after a while. So you can see it's very steep. And then obviously down here, these pages have very little amount of traffic. So it takes a long time to go from, even 99% to 100%, right? Because all these posts are very, aren't getting much traffic. We can also see here, if you want to be more extreme, our top 5 posts are already 50% of all of our traffic, right? So if any of these posts start, get negatively hit by Google or by mistake get deleted or something, it's going to have a big effect on the traffic. And this is kind of a common thing you'll see with a lot of content-based sites, is that there's a few number of posts which are driving the majority of traffic. And it's very clear with this is the Project BI blog, my blog. It's very clear here that, there's 16 pages that bring 80% of all the traffic. Let's just see, is there any here that aren't? All of these are blog posts, I believe. Yeah. Now, obviously, this is only the last 30 days. These ratios are going to change all the time. But it is nice to kind of see which posts are doing the most heavy lifting. You can see here we've got basically 5 posts which are bringing in half the traffic, and then another like 11 that are bringing in the next 30%. And then then there's over here 16 to 86, so that's 70 posts that are bringing in the last 20%, right? So that's an example of a Pareto analysis of landing pages in Google Analytics for a blog or any type of content-based site could do such an analysis. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions on this topic, please write them in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to get to them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.